Hey y'all, it's Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. If you're struggling with dry hair, you're in the right spot. Today we're going to talk about the science behind why we tend to have drier hair, and I'll share my best tips to help you start retaining more moisture. Let's get started. So first, let's talk about the science. It's common that I'll see someone struggling with length and one of the first things they say is, oh, my hair just can't grow that long, or no one in my family has long hair. Time out. We are genetically predisposed to struggle with dry hair. That is absolutely genetic. And because we struggle with dry hair, that is keeping us from retaining length. And this is why. Our scalps secrete a substance called sebum. Sebum works to protect and moisturize your hair. When it comes to our less melanated counterparts, their hair is straight, so the sebum easily travels from their scalps down to the ends of their hair, meaning their hair is more moisturized and it's a lot easier for them to retain length. But when it comes to our hair, particularly if you have type 4 hair, our hair curls pretty tight so that sebum never quite travels all the way down to the ends of the hair, which causes breakage and which is why we think we can't grow long hair, which is completely untrue. Fix your dry hair issue and then you will retain more length. And this is how you're gonna fix it. Let's start with the first step on wash day. Shampoo, right? Wrong. I rarely apply shampoo directly to my hair. That probably sounds wild, but I always pre-poo before I shampoo my hair. The only time I make an exception is on my clarifying wash day. Think hot oil treatment, right? Something is going to be applied to my hair before I wash it. In comparison to our less melanated friends, our hair is so freaking fragile. Pre-poo is a must, and I also use a sulfate-free shampoo. A sulfate-free shampoo doesn't have a strong detergent in it, so it's gonna clean your hair without stripping your hair. Next, the lock method. Major side eye. A lot of us learned that from YouTube. And I might use the phrase generically when I'm speaking to moisturizing and sealing. However, the lock method absolutely does not work for me. You may be lacking moisture because you're moisturizing in the wrong order. Oil is a sealant. So I'll recognize if that works for you, great, keep doing it. However, if you're struggling with dry hair and you're following the lock method, that might be part of why. So on wash day, I'm gonna apply a leave-in, some sort of cream in an oil, braid up my hair and throw a wig on in most cases. But when I'm moisturizing my hair through the week, it might be more like a liquid in an oil or a cream in an oil. You can moisturize in whatever order you choose, but in most cases, just make sure the O is the last step. Oil choice matters. Once again, YouTube convinced everybody that they needed coconut oil. Coconut oil is for high porosity hair. If you have low porosity hair, you absolutely do not need to use coconut oil or castor oil. It's way too heavy for your hair. I like to mix avocado oil and olive oil, but like castor oil is really heavy. It will create too much product buildup too fast. So when you go to moisturize your hair, that new moisturizer is gonna really struggle to get in. Another tip to increase your moisture is the greenhouse method. Before bed, I will moisturize my hair, massage my scalp, then I put on a plastic cap. I let that sit for about an hour. You can choose to cover your entire head or just cover the ends of your hair. Some people call it baggying, other people call it the greenhouse method. But either way, it traps the moisture in your hair and it's just gonna give you another moisture boost. To double click into moisturizing even further, frequency. You gotta do it. If you want your hair to be moisturized, you've gotta moisturize it. That frequency is gonna differ by person and what your hair needs. If you have high porosity hair, you could very well be moisturizing your hair 4 or 5 times a week. Your hair has more gaps in it. It needs more moisture and it needs heavier products. If you have low porosity hair, you might not want to moisturize as often and you might be using more water-based products. You gotta experiment and figure out what works for you, but make sure you're doing it. If you're new here, I do have type 4 hair. I'm texlaxed. Healthy hair has a little shine to it because it's moisturized and it will reflect light on its own. She applied product in it when she did it. The only thing I've done is put a little, and I do mean very little, pink oil moisturizer in my scalp. We all know how thick pink oil moisturizer is, so my hair would have zero movement if I applied a lot. I clearly didn't put much, but I was seeing a little dandruff, so I went in and did like a little parting and got my scalp, but I really didn't intentionally apply it to like the length of my hair. All that to say, when I get a silk press, I don't really moisturize my hair, and that is the only time I make that exception. When my hair is in braids under a wig, I moisturize about 3 days a week. I'd say just about every other day. And again, doing my bagging greenhouse method once a week. Whatever the frequency is that works for you, just make sure you stick to it. You gotta be disciplined if you want it. In this day and age, there's no excuse. If you wanna do something, there's a way to remind yourself to get it done. This is gonna be controversial, because I know some people swear by not washing their hair. Do you, little nasty? If that's what you wanna do. What if you never took a bath and you just kept putting on more and more lotion, and then you were confused why the new lotion doesn't get in your skin? My skin is dry, I can never quite figure out why. Because you need to take a bath. A lot of people don't actually recognize there are different types of shampoo. Do you have a clarifying shampoo? You need to purposely strip your hair about once a month to remove product buildup to allow new product to get in. I like ORS Creamy Aloe Shampoo, and I've recently started to like TPH Master Cleanse. Whew. You know how tea tree does a tingling sensation? It's not that. It gives a cooling sensation. It almost feels like an apple cider vinegar rinse mixed with the clarifying shampoo. I really like it. Plus it has nozzles. It's not a consistency like a shampoo. It's actually a liquid. That's the only TPH product I've tried, but I want to try. It makes me want to try more of her stuff. I've never even looked her way until I saw that on sale at Walmart one day. So I was like, $2. Why not? So if you're wondering why you've tried a new product and it didn't quite seem like it worked, or if your hair is dry and you have never clarified your hair, you got years of product, sweat, dandruff, makeup around your edges, like, yeah, that new moisturizing conditioner you just tried, it's not going nowhere, sis. And on that note, you sometimes have to take people's opinions about products with a grain of salt, because they're not even taking care of their hair properly to begin with. So when you try a new product, it might not work. That's absolutely not going to penetrate your hair. So you're right, it didn't do anything for you, because you need to do a clarifying shampoo. This conversation is actually right on time because summer's right around the corner. And that is another reason why a lot of us have dry hair. So we put on our sunscreen, our swimsuit, we've got our cover up, our braids, and we walk out to the beach. Okay, well, wait a second, you got your sunscreen on your body, but did you put any sunscreen on your hair? Your braids need a little leave-in. Just pause. Your hair, period, needs a leave-in and a heat protectant. If you aren't applying a heat protectant to your hair in the summer, y'all, that is literally the equivalent of flat ironing your hair without using a heat protectant. Let's just say you forget. You're traveling and dang, I didn't bring a heat protectant. I have braids in my head. I'm not even thinking like that. At least put on a hat. So leave-in, heat protectant, hat. Heat exposure, whether that's from a styling tool or the sun, will absolutely deplete your moisture. Let's consider relocation. Have you moved recently? That could be impacting your moisture as well. Arizona is a completely different climate from Atlanta, which is a completely different climate from New York. Going back to the conversation on frequency and the order in which you moisturize your hair, you might need to adjust that based on your location. And last but absolutely not least, water. If you listen, and I'm a Southern girl, I love sweet tea. And the millennial in me loves Starbucks. But I had to learn to start drinking more water. And I've said this for years. When I eat right and drink water, that's when I reach waist length hair. So, I'm claiming it this year. But if I'm not mistaken, women should drink at least a half gallon of water per day. And again, that's at least. So when you're considering if your hair is dry, I want you to also consider what you consume. Hair is hydrated from the inside out. You gotta drink your water. The more you learn about hair, the more you recognize our habits impact our hair. Why is my hair so dry has to be one of the most frequently asked questions I get, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if there are other questions you want me to address. I always have to level set. My hair has not always looked like this. I am not one of those people who can say they always had long hair as a kid. I had to learn a completely different way of taking care of it, and then I started to see results. So thank you for spending a little time with me. If you picked up a tip or two, don't forget to like, comment, save, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.